Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me, back from the future, is Ben.
Hey, I just want everyone to know that there was a garbage truck, and Hank decided that it's not on brand to start with a garbage truck, so he forced me to wait.
It's nothing to do with brand. I just I only care about audio quality for the first minute of the podcast. Okay,
Reel them in and then slack off.
Then I don't have the energy, but first minute. Look, you gotta once you have them hooked, then it's fine.
Yeah, we export the first 60 seconds as lossless FLAC audio. And then the rest of the episode is like 92 kilobytes mono.
It's real-time audio. Only plays in Real Player.
Oh. Yeah, so we did sort of a thing that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'll take the blame. It was lackluster. I feel. So I've been wanting to do a Soviet movie night in line with our past movie nights. I like the format, 4 films or so is a pretty good number to get a handle on a director or an actor or a theme, and it's tumultuous times. So 4 movies is a bit of a, I mean, shit. I wanted to do 4 movies, and in hindsight, I would not have been able to do 4 movies. There's just no way. This week has been fucking absurd. I've been able to start up World of Warcraft and relist my shit on the auction house, and then I log off. Like, that's my game time this week. So yeah, we did 2 films, and I decided to go with 2 Godzilla time films. They're both clocking in at about an hour and a half, and this is because the other some of the movies that I wanted to pull for like a true Soviet movie night, one of them was like 3.5 hours, and the other was like a shade under 3 hours, and that's a lot. That's a lot of time. Mm-hmm. So
that's longer. That's as long as both these movies put together for one of those movies.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And it's like beefy topics and shit, as you can imagine. So went with two comedies. Well, one is like a not
summary
a
says it's a comedy.
They're both,
it wasn't funny, but it is a comedy film.
It's a comedy, but what do you just call a normal fucking film? Like a drama? A dramedy? It's not drama. I guess comedy, but it's not like super. It's not
hilarious. Funny, but yeah, funny. It's a comedy that's not funny.
I'll make it better. Yeah, so the first one, I mean, okay, we had 2 films. We had Ivan Vasilievich, depending on the translation that you go with, Changes Profession, or Ivan Vasilievich, Back to the Future. Both are accepted. It's been officially translated both ways.
The Wikipedia page, the title is Ivan Vasilievich, Back to the Future, and the first sentence calls it Ivan Vasilievich Changes Profession.
Yeah, there you go. That checks out. So... yeah, I think it probably more accurately translates to Back to the. My hunch is that it more accurately translates to Back to the Future, but they avoid that because of Back to the Future. So that would be my guess. The second one is Mimino, and I mean, what do you want to start with, the good or the bad, Hank? What do you feel? I hope one of them was good.
Let's start with Ivan Vasilievich.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the Future Changes Profession or whatever, because I at least understood what happened in this movie.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, there's very little.
Know what happened.
There's like a few references that maybe are a little bit lost, but yeah, it's a much more coherent film. If you yeah.
Well, it starts really weird. It starts like someone was doing an experimental art film project with some of like the weird shots and stuff it's doing, and then they give up on that, and it's like, just isn't it funny because mistaken identity or whatever. But it gets way less. It's like starts like they had like creative ideas for filmmaking stuff, but then they ran out of them, and it becomes more conventional
Uh,
and
like,
more broadly comedic.
are you how long?
Well, like the
in
stuff with
beginning?
his stop motion vacuum cleaner, where it like,
So
and then it starts eating his cat,
was that just the stuff that was in black and white though?
and yeah, but the that's the stuff that's supposed to be real, and then the color is his dream.
Yeah, yeah.
So that fucking doesn't make any sense.
The Yeah, I don't know why they went with that. Like the eating his cat stuff.
Yeah, well, like it eats his cigarettes, then it eats his shoelaces. Then it
Yeah.
eats his cat. Tries to eat his
I
cat.
don't know, just
But it's just
specific
like it's
brand
like
of
again, it's like it reminded me of like experimental stop motion filmmaking stuff, which is like, it's the 70s. It's the right time for, and it calls itself an experimental film at the beginning, which is why I had that in my head.
Okay.
And it was just being weird. Like I was sort of like, this is just fucking weird, and then it stopped being weird.
Yeah.
It ran out of ideas for weirdness, and then went into Benny Hill bits, but without Benny Hill music, which is less good.
So, yeah, basically the plot of this film is there is the main character Shurik, and his wife is leaving him. He doesn't care too much. He's developing a time machine. It's a pretty fancy, lot of levers, very very convoluted setup. It's not your run of the mill. You can't just sit in it. You can't just pop the pedal to 88 and away you go. No. It's complex, and
It makes the video wobbly,
yes, yeah, their time
and
makes
then his wall turns into
a portal.
Ivan the Terrible's throne room.
Yeah, yeah, and his building manager, the landlord, looks exactly like Ivan the Terrible. Shenanigans
With a
ensue.
slightly smaller beard.
Yeah.
Also, there's a thief.
Yes, there is a thief who
also
kind of
goes
drives
back in time.
the plot.
Yeah, so you've got a what's the name of that Mark Twain story? Prince and the Pauper. You've got a Prince and the Pauper.
Yeah.
You've got this building manager who becomes Ivan the Terrible, and you've got Ivan the Terrible who becomes this dude. Although by becomes, I mean that dude's wife thinks her husband's gone crazy, and she calls the fucking
KGB.
psych ward.
Oh yeah.
Movie's not great about mental health. But
Soviet Russia, the 60s
in the 70s.
or 70s, yeah.
Yeah, this is 73. This movie came out.
Right. It's 67 in my head for some reason again. That was
Nope.
our last one though. Yeah, I find this film pretty. I mean, it's pretty good about its broad appeal, I guess.
It's comedically, it's broad.
I really like the I guess fish out of water trope.
I'm aware you like fish out of water. It's
Yeah.
like, Ben will like this. It's fish out of water.
But like him, especially when it's someone coming forward in time, like from lower technology level to a higher one. So him just like chilling with the music and stuff, and also the fact that there's still like Ivan the Terrible comes into more or less modern times, and he's just like, "Yo, where's the vodka and herring at?" He's like, "I got you, my man."
It's
Have some.
hilarious. He butters his bread with his giant knife dagger sword.
It's classic. It's classic.
Yeah. Honestly, just this movie needed the Benny Hill theme. Its chase music wasn't good.
Oh, I
It
mean,
wasn't.
it was okay.
Like, that's a classic bit.
Yeah.
You gotta have more upbeat music if you're gonna do the play everything in fast motion while people run around and all run under a table and then one guy comes out.
They can't afford Benny Hill.
I mean, they needed Soviet Benny Hill.
They needed Soviet Benny Hill. That's the horrifying part. That's maybe what they played. What if that was Soviet Benny Hill?
I pulled out my phone and started playing the Benny Hill theme at one point while I was watching this, but then I stopped. It's like, no, I need to actually experience this movie for what it is and stop making it better.
I do agree that would be an improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so generally, like...
It also does a thing that like Marx Brothers movies would do, where it's like stuff's happening, and then we gotta stop and sing a song.
Mm-hmm.
Is the song funny? No. It's just a song.
Yeah.
In the middle of this comedy. I wonder if it was... So the reason that would happen in Marx Brothers movies was because, like, part of the way those movies made money was selling soundtrack. They were, like, trying to sell soundtracks.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there was, like, a soundtrack tie-in to this movie.
Oh, I have no idea.
Fucking move.
I
know possible. That's why it isn't. That's why Marx Brothers movies did it.
It's definitely possible. Or
yeah.
So
okay. Or they just picked it up from other movies.
I was gonna say, like, was this something that happened like frequently in well-received films, sort of?
Like literally every Marx Brothers movie.
Okay, so maybe they
lots of pointless songs.
Maybe they like got the idea, but they didn't have the same reason, so they're just like, oh shit, like people are doing this now. We got to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't.
I mean, musicals were more popular back then too.
Mm-hmm. I really like the bit with him and his wife divorcing, and he's just like super doesn't care about it. Like me and so
divorcing. She's just like running off with her director.
Yeah.
The director of the thing she's been working on.
Yeah, but he doesn't even know. Like, yeah, and he just doesn't like. Oh, is that the blonde guy? What?
No, she already told he doesn't even listen to her. I mean, honestly, she already told him it wasn't that guy.
Or it wasn't that guy?
She specifically said it wasn't that guy.
Okay, but yeah, he's just
one of the first things she says is, "You probably think but it's not." And then he asks about that guy, except he doesn't know that guy's name.
Yeah,
that's part of the problem.
But yeah, just the fact that he's...
Look, I'm not really on Shirk's side either. He's out there.
Oh, yeah,
he's focused on his stupid machine.
Yeah, but this is also the dream.
Also, right? He's like barely a character in the movie. Like it's not about him getting. He's like the fucking plot setup is we need this scientist.
Well, yeah.
So that this other guy who happens to look like Ivan the Terrible can wind up in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's
and then he like disappears from the movie, which makes the whole like starting 30 minutes being about him and his wife like fucking weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that he's kind of the main character, but also it's not Shurik invents a time machine. It's Ivan Vasilievich.
Yeah.
Changes profession.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, the movie's Godzilla time, but it takes fucking 30 minutes for fucking anything to happen.
This guy.
That's a problem.
The feast that they have, that Ivan Vasilievich has, posing as Ivan the Terrible.
Yeah.
Like
basically the thief guy just does it. like dresses him up like Ivan the Terrible as he just sits there and
Maybe,
tries to stand up every once in a while.
Yeah, maybe you should dive into that. So the thief is kind of just the one who is behind all of the most of the actions of modern Ivan in what 1500s, I guess, 1600s, 1500s, something. Because he's a thief. He wants that dollar bill, and now he
steals like 3 video cameras or whatever.
Yeah. And he lifts the is it a brooch, a necklace? Just lifts it from that emissary.
I don't know, dude. That was weird because it's not like the dude I don't know why he had to steal that particular thing.
He saw it in front of him. It was in front of his eyes and it was shiny. How could he resist?
What about all the shiny things that were already in front of him that he had dressed the guy dressed up as Ivan the Terrible was wearing?
Yeah, but like, there's no fun if there's no risk. You know? Between the risk and the fact that like, it's like when when you take someone else's food and it tastes better. Like the first slice of pie does not taste as good as when you open up the fridge and there's one slice of pie left and now you get to eat it knowing that you're depriving other people of the last slice of pie. That's half the taste.
I'm just saying, as far as like a thing that I guess is a joke for him stealing that thing, they put a lot of work into it and there wasn't any payoff.
Yeah, no, it's
He eventually just throws it away. He just throws it. When he's throwing over all the things because they've been found out. He just starts throwing everything, and he throws that too. Like he doesn't even hang on to it. Ugh. It's just about the thrill of the hunt.
I understand that shit entirely. Like buying a game, but you have to steal stuff.
Oh no.
He's my soul. He's my, not soul mate. My kindred spirit. There you go.
Your spirit animal.
Yeah. Ugh, I hate that term. This is my spirit animal. Look, it's a drunken hobo throwing up into a gutter. It's my spirit animal, guys. Yeah, so this was it's a pretty... It's one that, like, most people will know. If they're, like... even like 25-ish or older, maybe 20 or older. Like it's a very, very well-known film because even if kids like don't necessarily like it, it's almost guaranteed that their parents do. So it's I don't think it's like The Shining. I don't actually know offhand like what the #1 Soviet comedy would have been, but this is definitely like it's in that canon somewhere. It's very well known. Well liked.
Apparently it's based on a play.
Yes. I recall seeing that. Yeah. I don't have like...
The play's from like 1935. Oh, but it wasn't published until 65? Weird.
Yeah. I don't have a terrible amount to say about this one. Because it's very like... I don't think it's a... like.
Yeah, they do the Benny Hill thing. It's very broad.
Like, where would you...
People run around, and they fast forward them.
Do you have, like, out of curiosity, do you have, not necessarily a numerical rating, but if you were going, like, good, very good, average, solid, shit, amazing? If you were going to...
like, below average, probably.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, that's fine. Different senses of humor and whatnot. Yeah. Anya...
I don't know. There were parts of it that was, like, definitely, like, this exists because we like this shot. Like, that mirror in his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely, like... There's definitely, like... shots that they clearly thought about. Like Ivan the Terrible's looking in a weird way because he's standing next to the mirror as the other guy is checking the phone, and you're only seeing that in the mirror. Like, there was some interesting stuff, but then there was just like this scene of just scenes that just fucking don't go anywhere of Ivan the Terrible just sitting around.
Yeah.
Like, they
Just
didn't really have
vibing.
anything for him to fucking do in the future.
Yeah, it was again, as someone who likes this trope. Yeah, it was a little. There wasn't quite enough. I wanted more discovery, I suppose. More of him interacting with the modern world.
Like, they have to bring back Shurik's wife and the guy she was eloping with, just so Ivan has like someone to play off of.
Yeah,
But I don't even fucking somehow they were like, she comes back because she's breaking up with him, but then they leave together, and I didn't know why that happened.
yeah, I got nothing for you there.
And they took Ivan's coat. Ivan gave them their coat. Gave them his coat for some reason. It was just weird.
Yeah. No, there's some-
Ivan the Terrible didn't feel like Ivan the Terrible.
Well,
It felt like the Ivan like Ivan who happened to have a sword
he was Ivan the Terrible.
or a big knife.
Then he came into the 20th century, had some vodka, and became Ivan the Vibin, I guess. He just sort of chilled.
You needed that fucking music player like all the time. you needed sick beats.
Yeah,
with him
man.
Constantly.
I need my music.
I don't know.
So
I don't know. It felt like a movie where they ran out of ideas. They didn't have enough ideas for a movie.
it's interesting watching this one and Mimino as well. Watching it with Anya, just because like she gut laughs at so many things, and especially like the first time I saw it with her, however long ago that was. She'd be like, "Why aren't you laughing?" I'm like, "I didn't know there was a joke." Like there's just so much that's different, and I find it interesting.
I feel like what I've heard about her sense of humor, she likes broad comedy generally, though. Also,
Broad comedy, but all like especially stuff that is satirical. So Mimino is a lot of that. This Ivan Vasilievich is for her. It's also because it's like what she watched with her grandpa growing up. So like she's been watching this since she was like 5 or whatever.
yeah.
So it's just that comfort movie. I can't. I there's not too much that's like in terms of like actual content. I think there's like some things with the apartment that maybe would be very, very specific, like knowledge of Soviet practices. The only thing that stood out to me was they used the term during this the big feast. That's sort of the beginning of the end for modern Ivan and the Thief. They mentioned eggplant caviar, and that is like a certain type of like paste, I suppose. It's eggplant and a bunch of other vegetables. Eggplant caviar.
Yeah.
From Armenia.
I mean, one of the
That's
problems
enough.
with going back, watching this film as like an old movie is like, I want to see more of the city. Mm-hmm. Like the part that was like one of the most interesting is just that when Shurik's running around looking for transistors and he's just going from store to store. Like, I just wanted to see more of that.
Yeah.
So that was, but like mostly we're just stuck in stupid apartment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. Like it's well, and the apartment isn't interesting enough. It's not like there's a shitload going on.
There's nothing there. There's some vodka and he like butters some bread. Like,
Yeah. I mean, Soviet Russia, baby. There's vodka and he butters some bread. The summation.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a I like it. I would put it at pretty close to, but slightly above average for me. I don't know. I like it. I'm also biased as shit, but like, I don't know. I like it. I like the vibe.
It's just
It's a
like
nice movie.
it's the stuff it does well is like broad comedy stuff that there's just
Mm-hmm.
like a million other movies that do it better
Yeah, sure.
that I've seen. So I don't know. I would take any. I would take even lesser Marx Brothers movies over this for sure. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not showing you the greatest movies. It's just showing you the Soviet movies.
yeah.
But now you know. Now you have that reference.
Now I've seen this mediocre comedy. Hooray.
Yeah, but would you have seen a mediocre Soviet comedy otherwise?
Look. No.
Aha.
I'm just saying, like, I liked V. These movies
Sure.
did nothing to negative nothing for me.
Look,
so.
this wasn't my planned Soviet night. My planned Soviet night was like 15 hours.
Look, you picked these movies. You
I
proposed the idea and you picked these movies.
I know. I'm not trying to shift blame. It's my fault. Let's talk Mimino.
I don't know what happened in this movie, Ben.
Okay.
Literally, I can't think of another movie experience where I felt so like, what the fuck is going on? And the fact that like the ADR is terrible, so I have no connection to these characters because like the way they talk doesn't match with what I see from them. And then whenever they speak Georgian, they're dubbed over with the blandest voice that like just blended together, so I felt like I was going crazy every time it happened.
I did not experience the ADR thing that you talked about. I even went back and watched a bit of it, like obviously when they're speaking Russian, not when it's overdubbed. But I didn't notice it that badly.
I mean,
So
I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive to it.
Okay.
It drove me crazy.
Okay. I didn't feel it at all.
Yeah.
All right.
I also
that's
think
unfortunate.
that like not being as familiar with Russian or what, like I couldn't read emotions as well on these.
Yeah,
the
so there's
performances. Like it just was bad. So I wasn't getting enough from it. And then when they yelled, it was so fucking ugly.
Okay,
Like, it
so
just felt
yeah.
bad.
So I'm
And
not,
then when we're yelling in Georgian and being overdubbed in Russian blandly, like that was my brain broke. My brain snapped in half.
so this one, the first time I saw it also like it took a
It
little
also
bit.
didn't help. The subtitles were very bad.
The subtitles are not great. They're very
I can tell they're bad when there are obvious typos in them.
yeah. Dude, Ani was trying to correct stuff for me. She's like, it's supposed to be this. And I'm like, it's one letter off. I know. It's fine. I'm not.
Yeah.
So I was torn between this and another film. And it turns out the other one probably would have been better. When I went to Anya to get her opinion, she was like, well, do Mimino because it has a more, like, coherent theme. Like, the theme of the film is better. I'm like, okay, yeah, I could see that. I get what you're saying. That's true. So I did this one, and then after I was finished, I was like, maybe the other one would have been better. So this one is like balls deep in like making fun of specific shit. When I originally watched it with Anya, it was so awkward for me. Like listening to them yell in particular, like everybody, like old lady wants him to take a cow and he just blows up at her. Like everybody's just screaming and she's like, no, it's because like they're making fun of how Georgian and Armenian people like get super upset even though they're not truly angry. They just yell, like they just get very heated and then they cool down immediately. I'm like, I would not have gotten that. So there's a lot
I
of
did not. It just it doesn't play.
yeah,
Like,
no,
like
there's-
Ivan Vasilievich, broad. I at least understood. this was like the way people had these emotions just did not read for me.
Yeah.
And then like the plotting is fucking nonsense. Like the way it cuts from scene to scene just doesn't make any sense. Like, cause just like things just happen, and there isn't connective tissue.
Mm-hmm.
It's like ending on like a joke that's not funny, and then we're just somewhere else, and now he's in a plane.
Okay. Yeah.
Like they're selling a tire,
Okay,
and then he steps into the dude's apartment, and then he's on trial.
My man.
Huh?
Do your best. Just like doesn't have to be super intricate, but just do your best to summarize what the plot is. Like try your hardest to actually give like what you think the plot was.
Dude wants to go to Moscow.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Moscow, winds up the apartment he's staying in. I mean, he's a helicopter pilot. He wants to be a real pilot.
Yeah, big aviation. Yeah, he wants to fly big shit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He gets there. The person he thought was going to be staying with him is not there. There is another person there who just has his name, who's a truck driver. Then they hang out. They see a musical?
Yeah,
a ballet?
Opera, I think. Yeah.
Opera, yeah. Then he's gonna go back, but he doesn't have any money, so the guy says, "Here, you can sell this tire." And he's like, "No, I don't know how I would sell a tire." He's like, "No, come on." And they go to an apartment with this tire, knock on the door, and say, "Hey, do you want this tire?" And the lady goes in, and then the guy comes out. And then our dude just forces his way into the apartment. And then that scene cuts, and then we cut to him being in jail and on trial for having beat up that dude and broken his they're very insistent. The thing that definitely happened was he broke that dude's chandelier, which we never see. He may or may, it doesn't seem like he beat him up. And he's very insistent that there's like no reason he did this. He just did it. Mm-hmm. But the lawyer is insistent that he needed to have a reason because then he'll get off. So then there's a trial. He gets off with a fine. I think.
You know why?
Because, well, the lawyer has a fake letter about how it was all his plan. Like this guy would like slept with his sister and was like a piece of shit or something.
Yeah, but not that he planned it, but like the man he encountered is a dude that got his sister pregnant and then bailed.
Yeah, which
and the chandelier
she made up.
No, that was real.
Oh, okay.
And the chandelier was not valuable, like they said. It was like a fucking knockoff that was worth like 30 rubles or something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, he had to like pay for that, and that was the end of it. Okay.
And then he leaves again. The guy gives him the tire again. Mm-hmm. But he winds up in the airport and meets this old dude. He asks for money, and then the old dude tells him to come with him. Fuck, I can't even fucking remember what they talk about at that meeting. Because the old dude's like, I knew your father or something. And he's like, no, you didn't. And he's like, this is who your father was. And he's like, that's not who my father was. And then he winds up being a pilot on a big aircraft. Mm-hmm. And then he's like talking to people. And he's like, no, I'd like to jump off this plane. And then the ending shot is him flying a helicopter back home.
Yeah, that's about right. Okay. I can elaborate a little bit. So part of the problem for like probably anyone watching this film, and it was my issue as well, I really thought the back half made sense. Like when I watched this, the front half, I was very 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 fucking lost. After they left the hotel, I thought I kept up pretty well. Um, I definitely could see how like they don't convey the true emotions well. They're there. They're putting them down in the film. You can see them, but they're not it's not showing up like in the actors that well. So basically
Well, like even the thing of the reason that other dude is in the apartment with him is because that dude had the same name. Like I wouldn't have gotten that watching the movie. I only got that because I had to like stop and go, what the fuck is going on?
yeah.
And like,
I'll rewind it even further. So I'll do my walkthrough and elaborate at some point.
but yeah, no, like the more of the beginning part is a fucking blur. Like stuff
Yeah.
the movie mostly just bounced off me, which is like I'm a very attentive watcher generally, and like I'm a little tired when I was watching this. I'll be honest, but like that is
No,
not an experience I'm used to with movies, and this movie fucking was like made no impact. Like it was just fucking happening.
So yeah, the beginning is so I hate the overdubbing as well. I fucking hate it so much. So I mean we have our pretty general or not generic maybe, but like well-known setup, right? Guy from a small village wants to be a big pilot, go to the big city, that sort of thing. Yeah, pretty common. There's so much little shit that like they don't spend enough time on. So like the reason why he goes in that, or why we it's not random that he like beats the shit out of that guy and goes to jail before he leaves. His dad, uncle, I honestly forget what the relation is, the old guy at his village, I think it's his dad, says like if you see this person, like don't do it, like don't go there, don't try to find this person who's in Moscow. So we have that single reference that there is someone in Moscow, and if they meet it will be bad. So that's like what that is. There's this person and he happens to run into him. I think from there it's like kind of straightforward. Like he does his thing and ends up going and decides to go to Moscow. The bit with the hotel, there are two specific things that like I had kind of forgotten about, and I felt bad because there's like I had to have Anya explain it like a couple times because it's stupid and I don't get it. Apparently, in that period in the Soviet Union, you could not just go get a hotel. It wasn't just like walk into a hotel and get a room and then you pay. Like it was a whole big fucking process. So that's why his aunt back from the village was like, talk to these people at this address and they will help you get a hotel. And then, of course, the joke is that he talks to them and they call someone else. And that person's like, well, can I get those tickets to Swan Lake? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. And they call another person. They're like, we need tickets to Swan Lake. And it's like this little chain. And then it comes back. And the pinnacle of this is like he leaves and this couple says, like, do you know who that aunt was? I have no idea. So they just helped like a random dude get a hotel room. And it worked out. And like, how the fuck are you supposed to know that?
Yeah, the other problem with the hotel room scene is that is some of the worst like typos.
Yeah,
like the subtitles are fucking useless in that scene.
Dude, I feel you. And this is what like I want to sit Anya down and we could go through the subtitles and actually make an SRT track for it so it can be downloaded. Because I could not find one better than that. Like they all use the same garbage that I was able to find. So, the thing with the hotel rooms is that, yeah, if it was a double room, they would just shove you in there with someone else. So it's not that he was expecting someone else, or it's not that he was expecting a certain person, but the hotel had booked like, yeah, the wrong dude. So
I mean, even fucking knowing that, like, that doesn't help the movie.
Oh, I'm not.
It's
I'm
like,
not trying to make
better.
it better. I'm just trying to explain like why it happened or what the deal is with it.
It doesn't. I still don't understand. In my core, I don't understand.
Okay. Yeah. So the theme that if it's there, you can look for it and you can feel it, and I like it, but they don't do well enough. They're both supposed to be very homesick, and especially the pilot, the main character. And they do these little cuts, right? Like randomly they show his dad back in the village, or they show him like flying into the village. They have these little mini cuts that are kind of random and shitty. That's fine, that's there, but he doesn't seem that homesick. He doesn't fucking seem homesick at all. And then you get to that part near the end with the plane where he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry I upset you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Do you want me to jump off the plane?" She's like, "No, I don't want you to." He's like, "Well, I want to." Like, what? What the fuck? And then he's just back in the village. Like, we don't get that emotion. And, like,
even this, the like, turning point of him beating up that guy or whatever, that he just steps into that apartment and then it cuts. Like, we don't fucking see any of the conflict. Because that dude is like a fucking brick. Like, there's no emotion coming off him. And, like, the whole movie hinges around his emotions and how he's feeling. But I don't get anything from him. Like, the only emotion I get from him is when he's yelling in Georgian, but then there's, like, overdub sitting on top of him.
So,
look, like, by the end of the movie, thanks to Wikipedia telling me he's feeling homesick, I knew he was feeling homesick.
Yeah.
But
Dude, Anya tried to find, I'm like, Hank, just before I'm like, Hank couldn't even find a plot summary, and I looked and I couldn't find one, and Anya's like, "Well, you guys aren't looking hard enough. I know one," and she couldn't find one either.
Here's the plot summary is he meets that truck driver and it goes, "And they had many adventures in Moscow."
Yeah, no,
and then it cuts to, he doesn't feel he's amicable and open to all people. He doesn't feel he doesn't feel like he has a place in the big city.
Yeah.
And then he becomes a pilot, and then he goes home. That's what Wikipedia says. Wikipedia doesn't have anything about the trial.
Dude, that shit is like copy pasted from every, like, IMDb, Letterboxd, fucking everything has the same exact wording. It's hilarious. Did you, in spite of the movie, did you manage to enjoy the trial, the court scene with Rubik, the Armenian?
No, I didn't enjoy anything about this fucking movie. I didn't. There was no joy here.
Oh, right. I'm not
because
surprised.
I really well. So here's the thing about me. I don't like. I felt lost, and I do not like feeling lost.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm really good at watching stuff. Like, actually, a thing I enjoy doing is coming in on some movies in the middle and figuring out what's going on, like with like procedural TV that like is formulaic and I can figure it out. But I was fucking watching this whole fucking movie and I couldn't fucking figure out what was going on, and it drove me fucking crazy. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't have a good time watching this.
Yeah.
What it gave me was not pleasure. It was I hated it. It made me feel very upset. And not because it was not like, oh, it was the worst movie I ever saw, but the way it made me feel was very bad. It was definitely, it made me feel worse than I think it is as a movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's just boring, really. But the way it made me feel fucking angry.
Yeah. No, that's totally understandable.
Just because it was fucking, it wasn't, it was just confusing and wasn't giving me stuff.
No, it's
like, I couldn't connect to these people. Like, it's just I was getting fucking nothing from it. I don't know.
So the rest of the movie is understandable, and I don't blame you. I'm a little sad about the court scene. I fucking love that scene. I went back. I even after watching it this time, I went back and watched that scene like I don't know a couple times. Just great. It's such a good bit. Like, did your did the witness feel
a good bit in a movie I hate? Not a big one for me. That's not how I watch movies generally.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah, but you know, if you see something that's good, you pick it out. So I'm just
no, I'm just saying. I'm less likely to do that when I watch a movie, particularly for the first time.
Gotcha.
That's not a thing. I'm gonna take away. Like if I had a bad time, I had a bad time.
Yeah. No, this is many regrets on my part because like this one's it's not good going in alone. Like I forgot how rough that was. Honestly, I definitely should have chosen the other one. It's definitely a little more satirical than Ivan Vasilievich, but the other one I had in mind, the fuck is it? Autumn Play? Autumn something? It's more broad. It's considered to be better than Ivan Vasilievich, but it's like all in Russian. It doesn't have overdubbing. So that probably would have been the better choice. But I'm a sucker. Like I would put this movie at like at least very good, if not excellent, for my own taste.
Not me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think
This is like a 2 out of 10. I had a fucking bad time with this movie.
Oh yeah, no, it's like ruined. But anyone going in, like,
but even if it had done what it was trying to do well, I wouldn't have liked this movie. Like, even if I didn't think it like completely failed at doing what it was trying to do, I also don't really have it in me for like this wistful homesick thing. Like that's not appealing to me at all either.
Sure. That's an easy appeal for me right now.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
There is one bit, and I didn't get it either. Again, like it's the subtitles. It's a failure on the subtitles part. Did you understand what happened with the long distance phone call?
No, but I also don't even fucking remember the long distance phone
That
call
checks
anymore.
out. So he wants to call Tel Aviv, his village, Tel Aviv.
Mm-hmm.
They hook him up to Tel Aviv, like Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a Georgian in Israel, and he's talking to that guy because like there was Georgian.
Is that why he
people.
starts yelling?
He he thought it was his son or nephew playing a joke, so he got like super pissed because he's like, I'm calling long distance. It costs dollars. Like, don't fuck around.
Man.
But then it turned out it was another Georgian, and like a Georgian who had to basically. I had to ask this. Anya told me like this time actually I didn't question it before. He would have had to flee from his home and go to Israel. So that's why like they're singing and they're getting emotional, like singing this this very sweet song.
Yeah.
And that's
Again,
a fine
I wouldn't blame the subtitles necessarily. Also, the overdubbing that drives me insane and makes it so I can't understand things.
Okay,
about
but even
the
if
world
you,
also ruined it.
If you had it on mute for some reason and just were looking at the subtitles, they should be able to tell you what's going on, and they don't. They don't translate it well. Like, it's just garbage. That's my main fault. Like, you should be able to mute it and watch with the subtitles on and still be able to get what is just the very bare bones of the plot, and you can't.
It failed on like 5 levels.
Okay, well, you just don't like the movie.
I don't like the movie, Ben.
Well, I hope this doesn't...
Explaining what was actually happening at the part where I'm like having a break with reality. Not helpful.
I hope that this movie for you and Soviet movie night is not what Destination Wedding is to my mom and the Before trilogy.
I liked V.
Okay.
If that had been, I mean, you should be worried because now I don't trust you to pick movies.
Okay, well,
I need you to do more due diligence on this, Ben.
Yeah, no, this one was my fault. I'm not questioning that. It's my fuck up. No, next time, well, not next time, but at some point, like the King Lear movie that I mentioned, that's fine. That movie is very well regarded and it's good. Or like Tarkovsky films, like that shit's very good. Like it took me a while to grasp the plot of his first film, Ivan's Childhood, but that's not because the movie's bad, it's because I'm stupid. Like, it's a highbrow film. He has critic jerk-off films. They're well done. They're good, but they're long as shit. And they're heavy. They're just heavy.
Yeah, not what I'm looking for currently also.
That's why I didn't want to do. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
Andre Rublev
I don't know that
really
would have
good.
worked out great of you telling me to watch
No.
3-hour movies.
And I wouldn't have. I would never. I'm not that bad.
No.
I'm not a. I don't hate you, Hank. Damn. 2.
I don't know. I watched Mimino.
Okay, come on.
I don't know what to think.
A
movie that I literally couldn't understand because there are 2 people talking and the subtitles are wrong.
Hey, if there's 2 characters in the film, sometimes there's 4
And the
people
editing
talking.
is not good at conveying what's happening on its own.
Well, maybe I'm setting you up. I wanted to lower your expectations, so when I show you a 4 out of 10, it feels like a 6 out of 10. You're welcome.
Now, then you should have told me to watch Mimino first. Then maybe Ivan Vasilievich.
Actually, yeah, that was
Vasilievich
the real fuck up comes out. There it is. Shit.
Maybe that would have seemed better if I'd watched them in that order.
You mean would have? It absolutely would have. No question.
It might have just colored me negative on the other movie too.
That's true.
I don't like.
I mean,
if I had been watching this movie first, I might have had to like just tell you it's better. You serious with this movie? I don't know. By the time I was getting this movie, I was pot committed, but I don't know. Like, I might have had to just go, Ben, I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was so fucking I don't know. I was so fucking confused. I couldn't even get to hate it until it was over. And then I was like, no, okay, I just hate this. Once I could actually see what it was. And then it's like jokes about misunderstandings and misconnections or whatever, going and then heading towards a wistful return to home. It's like, oh no, I hate this. Like, its whole idea of what should be, I'm just not into at all.
Yeah. Well,
all their problems are solved in a world with cell phones, Ben. This movie's just out of date.
get the fuck out of here Before trilogy guy. Not exchanging information in 95.
That was
What
a
is
choice.
this? Whatever.
Yeah, but those movies are good. They have... it's
I'm
a
not-
conversation
don't-
between two people.
Don't get any illusions. I'm not suggesting that this is better than the Before trilogy. There's a very few movies that I would say are better than that trilogy collectively, or even a single part of it. That's not fair to like 99% of the films we've
You
watched.
brought them up, Ben. You invoked them.
I didn't say that they were better, or I didn't say that it was better than they are. one thing I just, it's a low blow. It's a low blow. You're only saying it because you're full of hate right now.
Yes,
Cell phones could solve
I
their
am full of
problems.
hate.
Welcome
That's
to
what
every
this movie filled me with.
I mean,
But I mean, that's the thing. When I'm like when I was watching Ivan Vasilievich also, it's like I'm not enjoying this. But that's like an emotional response. And anything I say, parts of it feel hypocritical because like there's broad comedies I really enjoy. So like criticizing it for that, it's like it's hard with comedy because it's very subjective. And like the words I say can't get across like how it, that it's just I'm just trying to get across how I feel. But the thing was I felt bad. Watching this movie, I felt bad. The specifics of any of my complaints, immaterial. I felt really bad watching this movie.
Oh, that's fine. I don't expect them all to be winners. Look, and we like what 3 years now? 3 years.
Yeah,
pretty good ratio for me picking a shitty film.
Out of how many movies you picked, though?
Well, we don't need to. Let's not look at those numbers. We don't need to. We don't need to go there with it. I like the time ratio a lot better. You finally let me in the driver's seat, and I crashed the goddamn car. Oh. No, if at some point we do deeper Soviet films, I'm not saying we have to do like 4 of them or whatever, but Andrei Rublev in particular, I really enjoyed. It's very slow, but it was good. Like, I think objectively good. It wasn't a comedy, so it's a good start. Yeah.
I don't know. You still said you liked Mimino.
I do.
So you're biased.
I do, but I can see why it's like
you're biased beyond compare.
Come on. Andrei Rublev is at the top. Not at the top. That's not like top, but like it's in a lot of like best of all time lists, according to Wikipedia anyway.
I mean, yeah, but I don't trust best of all time lists either.
Well, yeah, but
they happen to have some good movies in there.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a decent, like Mimino ain't on no best of all time list. I like that movie, but I'm not going to pretend that it deserves that.
I know it won the Golden Prize at the 10th Moscow International Film Festival.
Well, yeah, that's because those people know movies, Hank. I love your silence right now.
I'm seeing what other movies were at the 10th Moscow International Film Festival.
I mean, hit me.
The Doom? How is this better than The Doom? It's called The Doom.
I do not have answers for you, sir.
Amza Pelia won the award for Best Actor.
That checks out. Man, Anya, what was it? Maybe it was, if you were talking about V?
This seems heavy.
Which, the movie?
The Doom.
The Doom?
I'm reading the plot.
Oh, no, what's the plot? It sounds like fucking, I mean...
Okay, peasant returns to his village after an absence of 12 years.
Oh, no.
After serving 10 years in the salt mines as punishment for killing the local landowner during a peasant's revolt. He served 2 years in the army, fighting in World War I. On his return, He finds his wife has sold his land to the nephew of the landowner he killed and taken up with another man. Shunned by other villagers, he finds work with the boyar. He finds work with the landowner. But when the landowner is killed by local bandits, he runs for his life, fearing he was blamed. End of summary.
That sounds pretty fucking Russian, yeah.
It's Romanian.
Ah. Well, it sounds Soviet. We'll put it that way. That's ridiculous.
That's the Doom.
The Doom. What a translation. There has to be a better translation, dude. Unbelievable. All right. We've kept this.
The Romanian title is Osinda.
I mean, that sounds cooler. All right. Well, we've kept this pretty tight. I don't have too much more to say. I'm not sorry you didn't like the film, but
I am. Ask me if I want to jump out of a plane, Ben.
Do you want to jump out of a plane, Hank?
I do.
Dude, that I hated that translation. He says I want to, and the person before him says, "Do you want?" Or do you want me to jump out of a plane? And then he says I do instead of I want. Like, come on, subtitles. That's my biggest piss off with this film. If anyone is curious, because clearly we have two differing opinions here, and you're curious to check it out for yourself. Like, maybe check Wikipedia. Maybe I write a summary there.
Apparently, there was an American film at the 10th Moscow International Films Festival. It was Logan's Run.
I haven't
Fun
heard
fact.
of it. Have you?
Wow.
Is this a movie I should have heard of?
Yeah. It's famous.
Okay, well, not that famous, I guess. Didn't win the Moscow International Film Festival.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's about a sci-fi future dystopia.
Okay. Maybe I have heard of it. Logan's Run. I don't know. I can't put a picture to it? Hang on, let's see if the poster I'm thinking of, or the image I'm thinking of is correct. Oh, I could not. I've never thought of something more incorrect in my entire life. This might be the biggest case of what the fuck was I thinking of I've ever seen. That chick's outfit is on point, though.
I think I would have had more fun watching The Doom.
I mean, we could watch.
I would have just been in a cheerier mood, had a more uplifting experience watching the movie about the guy whose life is hell.
I mean, then we
Watching
could
a
watch
movie that I can't fucking understand.
Watch Ivan's childhood next time. It's about child soldiers.
I don't want to watch that.
Well, a
It's
child
not called
soldier.
The Doom.
It's voluntary.
It's voluntary.
I mean, it is. His dad gets killed and he gets pissed and he's like, put me in. And they're like, we can't, you're 12. And he's like, I'm 16, put me in. Like, no, seriously, we can't. He's like, I'm little, they can't hit me. And they put him in.
Okay. That's not enough. That's not bleak enough.
It's not bleak enough.
The appealing part of The Doom was that it was the bleakest.
I'll tell you what. I'll watch The Doom. And I'll let you know. Because I know you're biased. I understand that Mimino is shit for understanding. I get that. I'm not pretending it isn't. I can be objective. I promise.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I need you to be objective in the future when selecting movies.
I was stuck between blame Anya. I'm throwing her under the bus again. Blame her. She said theme. She said coherent. It's more consistent or whatever words she used. I was beguiled.
All right, Anya doesn't get to pick the movie again.
I told her this is why she's not allowed to do a podcast.
I mean, she wasn't allowed to do a podcast because she only wants to talk about the Armenian conflict.
Yeah.
And not a piece of media that I can actually talk about.
Yeah. We came so close. We did Queen's Gambit. It's the closest we've ever been.
I'm thinking I might watch that at some point. So,
I mean, if you do, let me know. I could see it.
Happen.
I'd be curious. I mean, I could see it going either way. For you, liking it. I don't know. Sometimes
I'm watching Good Lord Bird.
Yeah, I need to start
and that's
that.
a trip.
I need to start that, and I need to start.
Ethan Hawke is on one.
Ethan Hawke is that's a buzzword for me right now. I'll tell you.
He is yelling like a madman.
Fuck yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Let me see if we have any emails. You can email us, saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us Salt Circle Pod on Twitter. Salt Circle Podcast in all various podcast feeds, Apple, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify. And I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
I'm nowhere. Yay.
You want to plug your new podcast?
Oh, yeah, I could do that. So, Pure 39. Pure is in Doc, not like a colleague or whatever, or a friend. Pure 39. It should be everywhere eventually, like Google Play and Stitcher and Spotify and stuff.
Okay, I'm checking. I know it's on Spotify.
Spotify showed up.
I didn't see it on Apple.
Apple, there's like reviews and stuff, or not review, but like because we just did it, right? So it's not taken yet, I think, or it hasn't been like published or something. Because I just did it.
I still don't see it there.
Yeah, I just did it like Spotify went up instantly, and everywhere else, like they gave us a little thing like showing where it should be linked, and like Google Podcasts came up, but if I click on that link, it says that it's not available. So
man,
I don't know if it's just taking a while or what, but add Spotify for now.
I just took the RSS link and put it into Apple Podcasts manually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what my co-host Sil, because she has a Apple ID, which it asked for. So, did you have to put in an Apple ID? Do you remember? This is back end stuff.
I mean,
it's been a while.
I've set up like accounts for all the podcast places that Salt Circle is hosted, so that like Anchor will do that shit automatically, but then they control those feeds, and you have to like, if you're gonna move, it's a whole how to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just did all that shit manually.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I had to sign up for a couple places, but yeah, they should.
And then there's some of the weirder ones, like it's already there, and I just claimed ownership of it.
Yeah.
I don't remember what website that was. It was like, the podcast is here. Are you the owner of this podcast? Like, yes, I am.
Is this you? So yeah. Oh, that's been fun. It's just me and my friend Sil, just kind of shooting the shit, maybe watching some movies at some point, or like doing a book club.
Make her watch
Maybe I will.
I need another person's opinions.
Yeah, I'll just start podcasts with different people until I find
Keep
someone
subjecting people to the nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it because I had to watch Mimino.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, the first episode is embarrassingly not great. We did the thing where we didn't really have a plan.
Oh, yeah.
Second episode is fine. I just bumped both of them right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I decided to try because I've never done it, and I've talked to you a little bit about our theme, our outro intro music here at Salt Circle. And I looked around, I looked into like free use stuff.
Man.
And there's a lot of shit. And there was one track
like shit me and Junkie used on ours.
Yeah, dude, it's just all ridiculous.
I just find it hilarious enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like fucking makeup tutorial YouTube videos.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
the place that uses that shit.
Or like inspirational stuff. Like, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. And there was one track that I had in mind. You
get what you pay for, right?
Yeah, essentially. There was one track that I had in mind, and it's from Chill Hop Records. And it seems like so many people, they have a page. Like, if you do YouTube or Twitch stuff, it seems like so many people have stuff available for those creators. Like, either a very cheap license, or like you just sign up and register and they have like a license, and if you stream or do stuff on YouTube, it's totally fine. If it's anything outside of there, you're absolutely fucked. So I like emailed them. I was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. We went back and forth, and I was a little worried because they used the word license and pricing. But basically they said like, oh, you can use, like, we give you permission to use this one track for a year for free, because like they asked what our expected audience was, and I was like, I don't know, 3. Like, so that was nice. I might try it again if there's a song we want here or something.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I like our intro and outro music. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to cut.
Yeah. That sounds
Peace,
like a good
people.
idea.
Don't watch these movies.
Come on. Watch them. Decide for yourself. Don't be a sheep.